Good evening. Welcome to Hits and Misses. Obviously, not even having the right. I don't even have the right thing up, bro. Hold on. Yeah, this guy. We're so excited to talk. I'm gonna leave it up actually. Hits and misses was immediate, instant reactions to Week 10 now at the NFL. Kind of a slow scoring day. Honestly, the first game had a ton of action. And so I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna let my boy do the intro, but basically right after that, Eric, just get into it because I know this is your pound your chest moment. So go ahead, tell the people who you are.
I'm Eric, the homeboy of Toomey. He does all the work. He spearheads this thing, but you know what I'm saying? I also enjoy football myself, so I get in here with a little bit of commentary here and there so I can levy with you guys from a perspective of somebody who's not the guru like Toomey himself.
Yeah, talk to me about him, man. So we talk about the best hits and misses of the fantasy day and who really exceeded expectations, who just completely sold us down the river. And I obviously accidentally had this one up, but it is very apropos. My man just got G'd up, and he happens to be on Eric's favorite team. So why don't you talk about him, Eric?
Yeah, I'll go in. Chuba Hubbard, he went for 24.9 points, as you can see, 28 carries. If you watch the game against the Giants, you will realize that though Bryce Young did get his second win in a row, they probably don't want to lean on his arm. Those of you who had Xavier Legette, you were probably anticipating a little bit more than just 4 catches for 40 yards. However, going forward, you should probably still be able to assume he would be the focal point of the offense. But if you watch the game, all the rookie wide receivers were getting some looks. I like Jalen Coker. You know what I'm saying, is the other guy. I can't even recall the other dude's name because, you know, they're not the best players in the world. Yeah, Sanders. But Chuba Hubbard, they just gave him that contract for $33 million. They do see what they have in him, as well as Jonathan Brooks. The first time he's going to touch the field will be following their bye week. So just so you know, Panthers do have a bye week going into next week. So Jonathan Brooks will make his debut in week 12. Chuba Hubbard, if you do have him, I would say that you can feel fairly confident that you're not going to completely be wiped off the map no matter how Jonathan Brooks plays, unless he's like Hall of Fame out the gate. I don't see that being the case, but Chuba Hubbard, they lean on him pretty heavily. 28 carries is kind of a lot. That's very healthy.
That's really healthy, especially on a team where that is what Dave Canales wants to do. This is we saw how Rachaad White was used last year. Like, this is what he wants. He wants the offense to run through the running back. Now, as a person who's been like a Jonathan Brooks truther, this does hurt because, I mean, they gave him a 4-year deal. I think it was like $16 million guaranteed, like $32 million overall. And he played it. Like, he played up to it today. I actually got really scared for him when it looked like he lost the fumble, but on that fumble, it looked like he twisted his knee up. And I was like, oh my God, that's awful. But then I was like, at least he got paid though. That was the first thing I thought. Was like,
the complimentary running back in Miles Sanders is the guy who got hurt. So that gives you more confidence that coming up, Jonathan Brooks is going to touch the field for sure, because unfortunately they did seem like they had a pretty serious injury to Miles Sanders, who was Chuba Hubbard's backup.
Yep. Yeah, so Chuba Hubbard balled out. Panthers on a little bit of a run right now. A run of 2 games. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, the one thing I will say clearly, and the announcer said it too, you see the confidence in Bryce Young. That is the most important thing you need to see, just from an NFL perspective. Fantasy, he's not really on our radar just yet. But if he continues to perform well, it does give you confidence in potentially moving forward as an NFL franchise that he is not a complete bust like he was looking like before.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So speaking of busts, let's talk. There's a lot of options today. Today I saw on was it NFL? Oh my gosh, I can't even find them. There's so many terrible options.
All this trash you got to sift through.
There's so much. It may not even have loaded. Hold on, I need to load this one. I gotta load this one up because
the audience know where we going.
Yeah, number one overall pick.
A hint. Did you see Hard Knocks?
It was trash.
Yeah.
Trash for these boys. And make sure everyone, we just started streaming on TikTok. If you got questions, let me know what's up. I have my game picks up there. Got the Cardinals wrong. I get it. All right, but here, I got this game right. And I was catching some flack for this one because I was like, the Patriots are not a good team. They are not a good team, and that didn't change today. But there seems to be something going on with the Bears. there seems to be some internal locker room stuff happening where we saw the interviews with DJ Moore this week where he's saying stuff like, I said what I said, like talking about how things are not cohesive in the locker room. Caleb Williams, he just doesn't really have the demeanor, at least right now, I think, to command that type of leadership just yet. He's not like a Jaden Daniels who's just kind of chilling in the cut and just kind of doing his thing and just letting the play on the field show for itself. Same thing with Drake May even. He's just a little bit more like a louder type of personality. But it also seems like after that, I guess, I mean, for them, like called the fail Mary, it seems like everything has fallen off since then. Like from that point, like they also, I mean, they were terrible in that game. They just happened to kick like a ton of field goals and be ahead when Daniels hit that amazing Hail Mary. But man, since then, it seems like everything's fallen apart. I think that this could be the death knell to Eberflus. He may be out the door after this one because they are really collapsing right now, and they are not a competent offense.
Couldn't agree more. This team is horrific. I mean, I can't think of anything positive to say about Caleb Williams, and it's such a contrast if you watched Hard Knocks. They were like talking like he was going to be easily the offensive player of the year, talking very highly about him. You look at the practices, everything looks so great. The chemistry is horrible. It's awful on this team. DJ Moore, I think they showed a play last week. Man walked off the field to sit on the bench during an actual play while the man was scrambling. Damn, I ain't never seen something like that before. You can tell homie does not bang with him real talk. And that is a problem.
For sure. And so people on TikTok asking who's talking. Eric P. Football on TikTok is the one who's talking right now. We're streaming the show on YouTube and on TikTok, so make sure you guys, everyone in here gives a follow for sure. But make sure you guys are subscribing on YouTube, following on TikTok. Give him a follow for sure. Eric P. Football on TikTok, and I'm FF Strategist on TikTok as well. So yeah, and I picked the Steelers to win because that was obvious. I think the Bears, we're kind of done with this. I'm not interested in Caleb Williams anymore as a fantasy asset until further notice. That's just, he's one of those guys who has to earn my trust on my bench right now. That's just kind of where he's going to stay. Yeah. All right, so I don't
want any Bears player from a fantasy perspective, to be honest with you. Not a single one of them.
Yeah, I don't know how did DeAndre Swift suck too today.
Nothing came up on my reading. I believe he was.
He was trash like everyone else.
Yeah,
7.5 points. I mean, he can only do so much, I guess. All right, but where do you want to go next?
We can keep it negative, like you said. There's a lot to talk about there.
And just pick any negative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so quarterbacks suck today overall. We just got a lot of them to talk about. So I'm going to start with this one with Kirk. And feel free to chime in, obviously. This one was fairly predictable. I don't want to say it was super obvious, but this is a thing where I'm going to get on you guys. I'm going to get on you guys up here too. If you followed on TikTok, FS Strategist and Player Profiler, you would have heard me telling you to fade Kirk Cousins. And this seemed like an amazing matchup. You have a team who just lost Lattimore. They're just falling apart. They just fired their coach. Clearly, this is a situation where you should be able to just chuck it all over these cats. And I mean, he threw a ton. But this, to me, seemed like a bad spot because this head coach, this interim guy, really got the buy-in of this locker room. And they were talking about it. They were excited. They literally reshuffled the locker room. They were like talking about get off the ground. No one hits the ground during practice. There was like a lot of energy with the Saints. And so I picked the Saints outright on the money line. Clearly, I was like, they are going to kill this. I actually thought they were going to win by more because the way that it even looked in the beginning, it looked like that. Like they showed up, and you often get like a new head coach bump in some of these situations, even if the team sucks. So that was why, to me, I was like, you just got to stay away from Kirk today. I have him on a lot of teams and didn't start him in any. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, they got Mayfield up here as well.
Yeah.
He showed a lot of grit. I'll give him that. But performance-wise, it just wasn't there for him. Actually, on the opposite end, outside of receivers, because I want to go ahead and give him some grace because he no longer has Chris Godwin, of course, but he also didn't have Mike Evans. And I think for the past several games, a lot of people knew his favorite target would be Cade Otton. So from the perspective of a defense coordinator, you want to do as much as you can to take away what's potentially his number one option. I think it was Jalen McMillan or something like that. He's a rookie as well. He tried to go ahead and show up coming off of a hamstring that was kind of hampering him throughout the week. So he didn't have that many people to throw to, which kind of
0 points.
Yeah,
McMillan got you 0.
Yeah, I actually looked at it to make sure he was actually playing because I knew he had the hamstring injury, but I was like, damn, dog, did you he just got some cardio today? So that's all he really was able to go in and put up. And of course, that doesn't help your quarterback. But actually, on the flip side, that wasn't how the game script turned out. If you did invest in this team in some capacity, you definitely had some return on the ground if we get there.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, so like you said, and this is your thing. So go ahead and talk about Rashad and Buck.
Yeah, here was where game script going against Baker Mayfield, where he didn't have anybody to go in. He couldn't get the ball to Cade Otton. But what was clicking for them was Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. As you can see, respectively, 19 points for Rachaad White, 17.4 for Bucky Irving. 10 carries to Rashad, 14 for Bucky Irving. They both scored a touchdown. They both did very well for themselves. So game script didn't really lean into the hands of Baker Mayfield, but this backfield, they were able to get things done today. If you had either one of these players, though many people were saying that they said it would be a three-headed monster, Sean Tucker was nowhere to be found. So if you happen to invest in Bucky Irving or Rachaad White, they actually did produce for this one. 7 receptions. As you can see for Rachaad White, he had a very nice catch that led to a touchdown, and 70 yards on the ground for Bucky Irving. We do believe here that he's the better, more dynamic running back from that perspective. So these were the people that were Baker's options pretty much. This is how they went to go through it, and as you can see, it panned out for them. So game script really favored you depending on which side you were on for the Buccaneers today.
And I mean, it's just like he has no other options now. Like it's like his passing options are the running backs and the tight end. The receivers are not reliable. They're honestly like practice squad level at this moment. Jalen McMillan may get better, but he's just not it right now. Rachaad White is one of their best pass catching weapons. Bucky is one of their best guys on the ground, and so they were kind of lucky to keep it close in this game. Like they show a lot of heart in Tampa Bay. Like truly, if they had Godwin and Evans, I think they win that game. Honestly, going away. Like they actually seem like they outplayed San Francisco. If they had more talent, they just don't have it. And so I do expect like Baker, unfortunately, I ranked him kind of low today. Like I just expect him, like he can only do so much. Especially when he was actually starting to give you something on the ground a little bit too. He wasn't able to give you that. This was just a buzzsaw of a defense. And also you think about this team, San Francisco coming off of a bye week, getting CMC back versus a Buccaneers team who just went to overtime on Monday night. So it's literally like the shortest gap you can have between Monday and Sunday versus a team who literally got an extra week to prepare for you. It's just a tough matchup. They were just running into a buzzsaw. And honestly, this is kind of when San Francisco usually kind of turns it on anyway, this point in the season. So there was nothing he could have done. That's why, again, I said fade Baker today too.
Great point. That is true. I didn't even look at the window that they had to prepare. So that's massive.
Yeah, man. And so I got to talk about these people on TikTok. So I'm getting a lot of flack for my Cardinals pick. I picked the Jets to win that game. I can't pick the Jets to save my life. I picked the Jets. The one Thursday night loss I have in my picks is me picking the Jets to lose, and then they win. And so this will, all right, Jets they have to come through, and they got boat raced in that game. And so I don't want to get into it now. Let's talk about that game on the other side of this break. But let's just hear about what's called Smash Up Sports real quick.
Cool.
Oh, it's the Podfather, and last year's fastest growing fantasy platform is back. It's Smash Up Fantasy. They've got these leagues where you redraft your team every week and you get smarter as the season progresses. Now, Smash Up also has a patented power-up card. These are actual cards that can boost your individual players or your entire team. So if you think Lamar Jackson's going to run wild all over the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 1, play the Scramble Spikes Smash Up card to turbocharge his rushing points. And that's not all. Smash Up also is introducing the world's first single-player fantasy game. Think Street Fighter meets fantasy football, where you can go toe-to-toe versus an increasingly difficult fantasy football boss and qualify for the postseason Tournament of Champions. So test your skills against me, the Podfather, and the Player Profiler team today at smashupsports.com and use code PlayerProfiler. The code is Player Profiler to get special perks like extra lineups for these weekly tournaments and so much more. And it's all free at smashupsports.com.
All right, smashupsports.com. I wasn't even honestly listening. I'm just going back and forth with these people on TikTok right now. We talk about why do you have a W on the Bills when I picked the Bills to lose. No, I picked the Colts to win. Sorry, I have an error there. I have a W on the Bills, but I actually picked the Colts to win the game. So that's why I'm saying I didn't get that one right.
Yeah.
But let's talk about another one I got wrong since we're just living in that. Let's talk about these Cardinals, man. if I could find them, I think maybe I ranked them by points because they're so high. Yeah, man. And we're gonna talk about the other side of this game in a second, but boy, these cats showed up. These cats showed up strong. James Conner. So he's been good. Like, he's been objectively good all season. He had, prior to today, 6 most carries, 6 most yards, but he had the 14th most touchdowns. And so I was telling anyone who was willing to listen to take the anytime touchdown prop on James Conner, because that's just touchdown regression is coming his way. I honestly thought he was going to score 2 times today. And so he really didn't get as much done on the ground, which I thought he was going to. But man, 5 for 5 for 80 yards in the air, like, that's absurd. But he's a good pass catcher. He breaks tackles. He had just multiple big plays. And this guy, I just feel like this guy doesn't age. He is really balled the hell out. And then you look at Kyler's ass, man. 22 of 24. 22 of 24 against this vaunted Jets defense. This Jets defense, who you got Sauce Gardner and Reed on the outside, but they didn't have their safeties for a long time. They got both of their safeties back. And he carved them the F up, bro. Like, he carved them up. They got Hassan Reddick. They got all these guys. He just carved them up easy. 2 rushing touchdowns, 22 of 24 for 266 and a touchdown. Like, he made light work of them. And it does seem like if you step into that stadium in particular and you are not fully locked in, you can get boat raced by this team. Anyone can get boat raced by this team.
I completely agree with that, because at every position they have someone who is competent or higher. When you see Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out of his shell, you know what I'm saying? He's 6'4", I believe he is.
Yep.
Who he was known for, very highly touted. He's considered to be the best draft prospect that was in his class. I think Brian Thomas Jr. as well as Malik Neighbors would have something to say about that. But if he ever meets his expectation, they've got somebody on the outside. Trey McBride, I think he straight up. Now, he didn't backwards jump over nobody, but he did do a hurdle over somebody today himself. So you got to respect Trey McBride. He keeps the chains moving. They've got John Connor. Even if Connor isn't doing his thing, Benson was getting a lot of work today. They even went to him to go ahead and get a lot of work. And Kyler Murray, he might just be a known athletic talent that people constantly forget about. If you give this guy space, he's going to move, man. The man had 2 rushing touchdowns himself, just because I think the defense has to respect how well Connor was running. They get sucked into the middle and just thought that all that gravity would go ahead and keep them right there. He just took it all the way around twice and scored a touchdown with ease. So he was cutting them up in the air. So I think the Jets never felt comfortable with all the options that Murray was able to get the ball to. He keeps you unbalanced, if you will, with all of the options that he has. And if he gets you leaning to one side like that as an overall defense, they're going to destroy you. The Cardinals offensively are very nice. And even the announcer said on defense, outside of what's the boy, Bubba?
Buda Baker.
Buda Baker, he's nice. But he said even outside of that, it's a team-oriented defense. They don't have a major name like that, but their defense is respectable. So if they get ahead of you, it seems like their team is built so that they can go ahead and keep a defense to go ahead and at least maintain the game and continue to lean on their offense to just destroy you. This team, when they're going, I don't want to be on the wrong side. This team is very, very good offensively. Absolutely.
100%. That was a good point you brought up about the defense, because the way that they play, and that's why I was, prior to Tyreek Hill getting injured, I was really interested in buying low on him, because the Cardinals as well as the Bills play like a really similar defense where they throw in like 3 safeties and they don't let anything get over top, right? They're going to cover everything over top and close down. I think there was I think they said today, like, they didn't complete a pass over 10 yards all game, the Jets.
I think I recall hearing that myself.
Yeah, and it's just because, they don't have the talent. Like, you have to keep everything in front of you. You cannot afford to be playing man on man. The guys are not talented enough, especially against these receivers. And they executed that to perfection, to the point where they really made these guys look awful. Like, the Jets, man, they look like trash.
Yeah.
A lot of things today happened that was great, because in sports media, we often got to talk about certain teams all the time. I pray we could be done with this. We could be done with the Cowboys. We could be done with that too. Like, there's certain teams, like, they're just being talked about because of the people on the team, not because of how good they are. So I hope we could put this to rest. The Jets are out of the playoffs. They're not making it. They are trash. This is done. The fact that, like, I like Devontae Adams. He's great. I just hate the idea of forcing, like, they're just Aaron Rodgers as the OC. Like they're just throwing all these like improbable passes to Devontae Adams, and I'm like, golly, y'all, like y'all should be handing the ball off to Brees and Allen. Like y'all, they should be getting 25 plus carries, not touches, carries a game. The team should run through the running backs. They have very talented running backs. Their offensive line is built way more to run versus the pass protect. And they're just like, I don't know what the hell. This sounds bad, and I'm not wishing injury on anyone. But anytime I see Aaron Rodgers go down, I'm like, I'd like to see how Tyrod does here. I'd like to see if they threw in Tyrod, like what would happen? Because I feel like I'd be at least interested in that approach, because then they would have to go more heavy run. Tyrod Taylor last year, even in his limited play, led the league in explosive play rate when he was throwing. So there's just like, I'd like to see it. And Aaron Rodgers is trash. And I mean, I don't know like what we're doing here. Like we're just going to see this garbage all season. I want to see Tyrod and just see what happens, honestly.
Yeah, I don't have a single excuse left in me for the Jets. I thought the whole jump man catch was going to turn them around, all the oopity ha that they had from that. You did not anticipate this at all. You were thinking that if the Cardinals are going off, the Jets at least have enough talent on their team to keep up with them. And it was shocking to see how they couldn't put anything together. Like the whole 10 yards, no passes going further than that. That's insane. Brees Hall, with this line that he has to be able to run with, I'm like, yo, what is going on? This is like this dude is looking average out here. Brees is a beast, and y'all can't get this man. What is happening? With these kinds of receivers, you would think there'd be some rushing lanes that could take advantage of. I don't know who to blame for the Jets. I'm thinking across the board, they just need a reset. If all like that's it. Like I don't know any kind of magic thing that needs to be changed here to go ahead and make it work. This all just trash right here.
I feel you. Like they got 17 total carries amongst Brees and Braylon together. And it's just like, I mean, Brees was 10 of 52. 5.2 yards a carry is not bad. This is a team you could run on. You should run the ball on them. Like it's just, I don't know what's going. Like I do not understand why this team loves to get into second and distance, third and distance, because they don't consistently run the ball. Like they want the ball to be in Aaron Rodgers' hands, and that's very annoying because he sucks right now, and it's okay. He is a game manager, but I think everyone knows that besides him. So he needs to hand the ball off to 20 and 0. And like the short passing and stuff, that's great. Get it to 5 way more than you get it to 17.
Yeah.
Get it to Garrett Wilson way more than you get it to Adams.
Agreed.
This won't happen. So I know I'm just talking.
Congrats to Mike Williams for finding his way off this team to the Steelers.
100%. 100%. He got fired upwards.
Exactly.
He definitely failed upwards for sure. Yeah, everyone on Tuck Talk again. I picked the Colts to win, and this is a typo. That's why there's an X there. These people are not letting that go. All right, what's next? Where we want to go next? Let's see. Oh, we got to talk about the return. Got to talk about the return of CMC. My master CMC, Mike check CMC. He's 13 for 39 is not great. Tougher run defense. You got Vita Vea in the middle and Kalijah Cansey's there. 6 to 7 in the receiving game is really what you want to see. And you obviously just wanted to see him look healthy, see glimpses, and not get hurt. He hit all 3 of those markers. And so this was a good CMC day for me. What do you think?
I think I couldn't agree more. I think he played, and the people, after missing, 10 weeks, pretty much, the backups combined for 2 carries. They did like Jordan Mason, like overnight became nobody all of a sudden. They didn't like ease him in or nothing like this. It was like, you know what it is. You had your opportunity. You did your thing. You messed up your shoulder. For the rest of the season, you can rest because Christian McCaffrey is now here. In respect to the 49ers overall, all their players, I think they had some of the most yards over this Sunday so far as in the air with Brock Purdy, because I think even Ricky Pearsall was getting off doing his thing. Jawan Jennings and what's the Garrett, that tight end, he's been having a fantastic season on the low key. Like I looked that up today. I said he's been balling. He's been extremely high on his return on investment. So I like to say the 49ers, as far as offensively, they were like kind of like the Cardinals. Everybody was able to get off with this team right here. I think they got some waiver targets on that team as well, if you're really looking for somebody, to be honest with you.
100%. I think like Pearsall, 4-6 for 73 and a touchdown. Jawan Jennings delivered if you started him for 16 points, 7 of 11 for a touchdown. Debo, a little bit of concern. I mean, he got 12 points, so you can't be mad at that. Everybody ate, and honestly, typically when everyone eats, one person usually like craps the bed, so at least that didn't happen. One thing I would say for CMC owners, and if you happen to have Jordan Mason, this to me is not the time to drop him. I would hold on to Jordan Mason still. We clearly see he is the handcuff. Like Isaac Guerrero is going to be a factor now if, say, CMC went down, but Mason will still be the one if CMC went down. So definitely don't just like panic drop Mason because CMC made it through the game healthy. Like he has Achilles tendonitis in both of his legs. You never know what could happen. We don't even know what could happen after this game. Sometimes after the game happens, you get through with adrenaline, and then somebody goes on IR, and we were completely not expecting it. Like, just don't be dropping Jordan Mason right now. Like, just hold your water a little bit. All right.
For sure.
All right, let's go. I can't keep looking past this. I gotta get this out.
You about to go in.
Okay, so talking about the Colts. All right. So the first time that I think it was the Houston Texans game where I came up here and said they got to bench Anthony Richardson. Very emotional, and he played like trash. And then he tapped himself to get out after he was tired. All of that is terrible. Fully granted, emotional Colts fan here. I'm a Colts fan. But I later thought about it like the next day and made another video saying these are the reasons why the Colts are kind of failing Anthony Richardson. And benching him for me is not a problem. I actually think benching him was actually a good move, kind of like we see with Bryce Young right now. But the way that they said immediately after that, we're benching him for the foreseeable future, and Flacco is the starter moving forward. That's insanity, and I thought that was crazy because you truly are like giving up on the pick now. Mm-hmm. Now I expect Anthony Richardson to make his way back onto the field, but I think we start to see like all the reasons why. Yes. He's playing like trash, but there's just certain things that he does for this offense that just no one else could do for sure, but definitely not Joe Flacco. Because if we're going to be getting 4 turnovers from Joe Flacco, you should just be putting in Anthony Richardson then. Because at the very damn least, you got a rushing threat at quarterback that opens things up for Jonathan Taylor, who had a good game, but outside of that big run, it wasn't as big as everyone's making it seem. Like they are dead last in the NFL EPA per play rushing the ball before today, with Joe Flacco on the field, and they are top 5 with Anthony Richardson on the field. He just opens the rushing lanes up. It is just a fact. That just is what it is. And again, if you're going to have a quarterback who's putting the ball in harm's way, because there were at least 2 more interceptions out there for Joe. Like at least there was 2 more opportunities for him to make a play for the defense. And then he lost the fumble too. It's just like he got sacked 4 times. Anthony Richardson, he's gotten sacked for sure, but I mean, he actually does a really good job with his avoided sack rate. And then I always keep comparing, like, you look at Josh Allen's numbers in his first 10 games. You look at Anthony Richardson's numbers in his first 10 games. They are as identical as you could be. Josh Allen has more rushing. Anthony Richardson has slightly more passing. I think that the interception rate for Anthony Richardson was like literally like a percentage or 2 higher, but nothing crazy. Like they both played awful their rookie years. And over time, one team stuck with the player, one team invested in defense for that player, and we see where Josh Allen is today. Now, Anthony Richardson, I don't think he's ever going to be Josh Allen, but the fact that they've already given up on him, I'll be interested to see what happens because 4 turnovers is ridiculous. You really could not afford to have that in an AFC matchup against the Bills. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Anthony Richardson sooner than later too. But then it's just going to look crazy. Like it's going to just look like they're going to look like they don't know they're going to look like they do not know what the heck they're doing. So I'm just frustrated. All of that to just say I'm frustrated, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't anticipate a veteran like Flacco to turn the ball over as much as he did. This is literally, I think, the reason he does get the nod over Richardson, because they think that he would just take care of the ball and a better efficiency rating than Anthony Richardson. But what you mentioned about them creating much more rushing opportunities with Richardson, like in the offense, I think like you're getting to, they should just play to their strengths. This is the personnel you have on the team. Create plays, manage the game, build something that he's comfortable with, and easily bring in the more complex things that he struggles with and work that in over time. Like take the bye week to try to work on at least becoming mediocre in one of his weaknesses in that capacity or something like that, and try to work him in that capacity. Because with Flacco, I think after this game, you see that it's just not working, especially if an option like Pittman isn't going to be out there for the defense to focus on, because everyone knows he likes to throw the downs. I think they set a very abnormal number of percentages as far as who he leans on when he's
over
throwing
42%.
Yes, that is
crazy.
like damn near half. So if the defense knows they just got to make sure they cover this guy, you become very one-dimensional, even though you do have a great running game and you technically do throw the ball. So I think what they're anticipating Joe Flacco to provide, given his knowledge and his understanding of the game, it's really not there given the constitution of the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely trash. Like, I don't know what else to say. Let's answer some of these questions that we're getting in TikTok. Make sure on YouTube, if you have questions, type them into the chat. And also make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys are following. So, the Bills won the game. I picked the Colts. It's a typo.
Damn.
Let's see. I'm telling you, Cats cannot deal with this typo situation. All right, so Daniel's saying 50 points between St. Brown and Achin. Is that possible for Devon Achin and Amon-Ra St. Brown to deliver 50? I think it's very possible.
Yeah, I'm nodding my head. I say, Marshall Faulk. I mean, Devon Achin can't do that for you. The dude is nice. Like, just look at Miami without him.
Yeah.
Look at Tyreek Hill there. This man is a game-time decision because of his wrist. And Jalen Waddle, I don't know where the hell he went. And it ain't the dude that we see on TV. So all they really have is Devon Achin. Devon Achin can really do well. If it's a St. Brown game where the Detroit Lions just throwing at everybody getting off, and he's the one man out. But if they're leaning on him in any capacity like they have a little bit throughout this year or anything like last year, 50 points is very much so doable. It ain't no guarantee.
Not at all.
But it's doable. So.
Yeah. Like if you're getting 50 points, you need Amon-Ra to score, and you need Tyreek Hill not to play. That would be the way to me that you would get your 50 because I'm starting JMO in any league I have him, and I typically have the mentality of if I have JMO, I play him. I don't even think about it. You just deal with the ups and downs with it. But for Achin, like he is on pace, at least prior to this week, because Jamar Chase messed up all the numbers, but he was getting 17.6 points, I believe, as just a receiver. Like 17.6 points per game as just a receiver. That would have been wide receiver 6 prior to this week. And not including any of his rushing work. I get, like, there's some people who are just not buying into Achin yet, and I can't, like, hammer it into your head enough. In PPR, it is a cheat code to have Devon Achin right now. Like, he is delivering over 23, 24 points per game with Tua, and it's just, he could definitely deliver you that. So you need Devon Achin to do what he typically does, which is get you 27-plus points. And you need Amon-Ra to score and just give you some receptions. But I think it's possible. I give you, honestly, a 60+% chance of getting that.
Yeah, I was going to say, to keep it 100 with you, the person you're going up against, when you see Devon Achin on other people's team, you nervous. You're nervous. You don't feel like the game's over until Miami's done playing. Let's just call it what it is. It ain't over until Devon is done.
Yep. And the thing that's funny is, like, Miami, you think, like, high-flying team, all this stuff. The worst team in the NFL from an average depth of target. They have the lowest average depth of target in the NFL because they keep checking it down to that running back. And also, if you think about it with Tua, again, like, Tua's only played a couple games. 2 of them were against the Bills. One of them was against the Cardinals, and we just talked about how they play that shell coverage over top to make sure no one gets behind them. So that's why, again, whenever Tyreek's healthy, I'm buying him because I do think they're not going to face that many defenses like that. And this is one of those weeks. So actually, I don't mind Waddle if Tyreek is out. And if Tyreek plays, I'm starting him. I'm not even thinking about it.
True.
Yep.
If Tyreek doesn't play and Waddle doesn't provide or produce, oh my God. Oh my God.
It'd be very upsetting. I don't want to jump past this. We typically don't talk about Thursday night guys, but like we can't not talk about Chase. This was a top 10 performance all time. 55.4 points, 11 of 7. This looks like literally a good quarterback week. 11 of 17 for 264 and 3 touchdowns. That looks like a Sam Darnold game we've probably seen. Like, that's nutty, bro.
It's this crazy. Like, I literally went against Lamar Jackson, Chase Brown, and Evan McPherson and was like, yo, this is terrible. The one thing, though, I happen to have Jamar Chase. And it was even at the end of the game, 50+ on both sides. I was like, I had to pick up my mouth off the floor. And I was like, this the man they don't want to pay? Who else out there is going to be better than this? Like, what are the Bengals ownership looking for? Like, tell me if you've ever seen a dude this nice.
Yeah, I have in Randy Moss, but like a relative to like the market right now, not at all.
Come on.
I mean, there's only one dude in Minnesota, but like it's a short list. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, yes.
I get them not wanting to pay him because they are a stingy ass organization and they never pay anyone early. Like AJ Green didn't get paid early. They don't pay early because Justin Jefferson was up for a deal. Chase is technically up for a deal next year. They will not pay. They just don't pay anyone early unless your name is Joe Burrow or you throw the ball. But still, I would want to lock this guy up. I wouldn't want to play around with it. I would just lock this guy up. It's even funny. Like last week, he was actually on the misses list, but he still gives you like 10 targets, especially with T. Higgins out. Like that's
what
the
we
part
said last week.
Yeah,
he said he had 11 targets. Don't be too upset. It was only 4.4 points. And even when I was leaving work, I was telling my mans, I was like, I hope Jamar Chase do something tonight. You know what I'm saying? He owed me for last week. Damn, dude don't owe for the rest of the season. You know what I'm saying? Like, put it all on Thursday. That was incredible. After his first touchdown, I was like, all right, he done. He did his thing. Who in the world knew that this man had 3 more games of productivity to go ahead and produce in that game? That was outrageous. And that was following, I think, a Ravens touchdown. He was like, don't get too happy. Don't get too – I feel like scoring right now. Maybe it has something to do – was it Kyle Williams, the dude on the Ravens, like their safety or something like that? He got hurt. So I don't know if the dude who was the backup, he just didn't know how to stay with that Jamar Chase game. So it kind of like lended itself well for Jamar to really do well at that point. But to have the talent, the ease with which he made it happen or made it look like, and then the talent of actually catching the 3rd touchdown in the back corner of the end zone and having the connection with Joe Burrow to have the trust for him to even throw that pass, this guy is rare.
Yeah, he is. He is in rare air. He typically, I think he actually does kind of ball out against the Ravens though, typically. But yeah, like it's just like I don't have to check. I know he's the wide receiver 1 now.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to look, but he is the wide receiver 1, bro. And again, guys on TikTok, I picked the Colts to win. I picked the game. I picked the Colts to win the game. It is a typo or an error that I have a W on the Bills. I picked the Colts to win the game. That is why there's an X there. Please, chat, tell people when they enter into this chat that I'm done with that one, bro. I'm done.
Man.
That's like the 18th time we had to say that.
No taking, don't make no mistakes with TikTok. Damn.
Yeah, you can. You have to be perfect. Because I'm getting so much flack. Let's just look at this game picks. I'm getting so much flack. Let me scoot over here. I'm getting so much flack for those 3 losses, but those green checks don't mean anything. So what is that? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 3. I went 9 and 3, but those three though, trash. Those 3 just trash. Like, who picked the Patriots over the Bears? Me. Who picked the Saints? No one was picking the Saints.
Yeah.
People, like, fans were picking the Saints, but like pros weren't picking the Saints. You know?
I understand. Yeah.
I mean, come on. It is annoying to say the least. I want to talk about this team because I hope we could stop talking about them forever now. The Cowboys. So, I included CeeDee Lamb and his father on the page. That's not cool, man. That's not cool to me. That's not cool to me. But anyway, for those on TikTok who don't see, I have a picture of CeeDee Lamb and Cooper DeJean because Cooper DeJean is crazy nice. I didn't know that. He is a lockdown slot receiver, 100% spectacular. 6 for 10 for 21 yards for CeeDee Lamb, an all-pro wide receiver 1 in fantasy like last year. He is turning it on like crazy right now. And it does, like, he is now turning into, I have the slot receiver. I may have to bench him, and I'm definitely decreasing my projection for him now if he's going to be facing Cooper in the slot. Like, he is lockdown. He is athletic AF, and he's a sure ass tackler. He is not missing a tackle. So for a person like CD who depends so much on Yak, because the offense isn't just so uncreative, like this, just you don't have an opportunity for that. You have to catch a big play on him, and good luck with that because he is athletic AF.
Very much so. I think the Cowboys in general, if you have CeeDee Lamb, to be concerned is an understatement right now.
Yeah,
with the loss of Dak anticipated for the rest of the season, with the dude said hamstring off the bone. So I don't know how my man was even standing on the sideline to be 100 with you. But if that's really what we're talking about, and you got to deal with Cooper Rush or I can't remember. Yeah. You had people in the crowd made a sign that said, let Romo play, because Romo was calling the game. Romo was like, I had my time. I can probably give you 2 series, and that's about it. But that would probably still be better than what they had.
Yeah. Cooper Rush did, like, I think, what did he go, 4-1 last time he had to start a couple games? I do think sometimes as fans even, we get, like, super twisted up. So, like, even with Joe Flacco last time, the quarterbacks who are not the bread and butter starters, if they give you a streak of games like that, you cannot take that to the bank again. You kind of have to just live with what you got and be happy about it. Like we saw with Josh Dobbs last year. Like, you're not repeating that. You kind of caught lightning in a bottle, and that's cool. But, like, you shouldn't be depending on, like, doing the same thing again. Like, there's absolutely no way. They may not win another good game. Like, they may win a game, but they're not going to be winning a ton of games. The defense really showed up for them finally because they had Mike on the field.
Precisely.
But they don't score points like that. I mean, they're going to have to score some touchdowns for them to stay into games. Like, this team is done. We could start just shoveling the dirt on them right now. This is it. We're done. This Cowboys are done. The season's done. Could we put down the Cowboys narratives? Because there's nothing to talk about on that team at all. Please. This is me asking. Please, let's be done. Let's be done with the Cowboys. And the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, don't care. Dak Prescott, don't care. There's nothing relevant about these teams anymore.
Agreed.
Yeah, man. All right, so we got the game coming up soon. Let's just hop. I just want to really quickly touch on. I want to do the game picks, just for the game that's coming up. So, and then for anyone who on TikTok, I see there's people with questions about like props and stuff like that. So throw them in the chat and we could answer those too. So for me, I see the game tonight going the way of the Lions. The Texans have been like rather disappointing in how they've been performing offensively. Even with and without Nico Collins, it just has not been smooth. Bobby Slowick, I have like this is like a crazy amount of stats here.
Nico isn't active tonight.
Yeah, Nico's active, and I'm still picking them to lose.
No, I don't think he's playing.
Oh, he's inactive?
Yeah, I think he's inactive tonight.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah, that's a L right there.
That's a layup.
Yeah, I mean the Texans. There's just so many things. Like they have the most dropbacks at like 3rd and 4+. Like they have a ton of dropbacks. They have like the largest second down in distance in the league. Like their coach is just not doing a good job getting them into easy plays. And their interior offensive line, like we saw on Thursday night, is complete dog shit. Sorry, complete trash. It is a trash lineup. 25th rated offensive line in PFF. 18 sacks allowed. That's the 4th most. And also the Lions defense, they've actually, it's weird, since Aiden Hutchinson went down, they've actually gotten like I think 4% more pressure on quarterback since Aiden went down because they're sending more bodies at the quarterback. And CJ Stroud just kind of sucks versus man this year, man coverage, and that is all the Detroit Lions play. I think he has like a 56.9% completion rate versus man, 79.9 passer rating versus man, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It's just not the matchup for him, especially when you see on the other side of the ball an offensive line that's going to road grade you, and then you have Jared Goff playing just at an alien level right now. It's a tough situation. So even if Nico was on the field, I was going to pick the Detroit Lions, and I was going to pick them to cover the spread even still.
Yeah, no lies detected. I can't find any holes in that. Like
Yeah.
the only thing going for Houston has been Joe Mixon.
Yep.
And this is a game where you're playing the Lions. Lions ball out. You know what I'm saying? They put up buckets. They score a lot. You can't just be rushing the ball. And if there is no Nico, Tank's going to have to go insane. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have anything against him, but I don't think he's Jamar Chase. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see them being able to maintain and keep up with Detroit. I don't see many teams being able to score with Detroit, to be honest. So that's just – it's not – like you said, it's not the matchup for them.
It's
Or
not the
most
matchup for them. And I mean, I'm starting Mixon just because you have to, but Detroit's elite against the run as well. Because they got DJ Reader and McNeil in the middle, and they've just been balling out too. And so then, really quick Monday night game, I'm going with the Rams there. I don't think Tyreek's going to play the way that it sounded today, and I haven't seen any new reports about it. But that is a big deal. This is the type of defense where you can finally get behind some safeties. You can finally take those deep shots. But he's just not. Pause. That sounded crazy. You can finally take those deep shots. Okay. I'm a 5-year-old. But you can finally go over to I don't even know how to say. You can take a shot down the field with Tyreek Hill, but I don't think he's gonna play. I think it's probably I feel like it's less than 50% chance he does play. In that situation, I'd be fine with Jalen Waddle. But let's say you have Tyreek Hill and Tank Dell. I will start Tank Dell tonight just to make sure I don't get blanked out. And if you really are desperate and you don't have anyone tomorrow and then Tyreek Hill is ruled out, I'd pick up a player like a Jonnu Smith. Like we just mentioned, Miami is the bottom of the NFL in average depth of target. They're still integrating Jonnu Smith in the passing game even since Tua has returned. And so I don't think that he is a bad bet to at least not murder you and give you 0 points. But I think it's a Devon A. Chin show again. And I think it's going to be the Von Achen show on the loss because Puka's healthy. He just got ejected for punching somebody. Cooper Kupp is healthy. Kyron is healthy. Offensive line, they're actually getting a lot of offensive linemen back, and they actually did okay the last couple of weeks anyway on the Rams. And then defensively, they actually get the highest amount of pressure in the NFL. Like Jared Verse leads the league in pressures. Like he's a rookie there, and I think him and Bijan are probably going to be battling back and forth for Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's a lot of stuff to like about the Rams right now, and I feel like they're kind of getting on a little bit of a heater after last week's loss.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think as far as the weapons, like with Cooper and Puka and Kyron Williams like going crazy this year, I just think he had many more opportunities to put up points. And the Miami Dolphins being so shorthanded with them up in the air on whether or not Tyreek Hill would play, how poorly Jalen Waddle has been playing. And any defense coordinator would just know right now, if I can stop Devon Achane, I have a much better chance of beating the Dolphins. So that would be my focal point. I'm assuming people who make millions of dollars have come to the same conclusion. So I would definitely lean on the Rams.
Hell yeah. All right. I think that'll do it. Again, I picked the Colts to win the game, TikTok. I picked the Colts to win, and that is why I have an X there. It is an error. Apparently, TikTok is unforgiving, but I hope you guys are more forgiving. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys follow if you're on TikTok, and being my grammatical teacher there. And yeah, make sure you guys take care. Good luck with your bets and your props and everything like that. Peace out, everyone.
Peace.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.